Okay, we're back and we're looking now at D. So is this factored? It is factored, right? Because again, it's something times something times something. And it doesn't matter that there's plus and minus signs going on inside of that as long as it's a product of something times something. Okay? E, this is not factored. Again, we have it's something times something, but this plus sign here throws it off. And so it's not factored. And lastly, F is not factored since again, it's something times something plus something times something. Okay, so just be careful there in determining whether or not a quantity or algebraic expression is factored. Okay. Okay, so note, remember since multiplication is commutative, there are different ways you can factor the same term. And for instance, 7mn can be factored. And really it's just a matter of how you structure your parentheses. Because again, remember, order of operation matters. And if you are dealing with some order of operation, you want to take care of the parentheses first. So this is an example, and we can look at other ones, but this is just one example of what we mean. And so actually, this isn't necessarily dealing with the commutativity property here. So this is just a rearrangement of how you can look at the factors. Any expression, so no, but just keep that note about commutativity. We know that with multiplication because we might have to see that later. Any expression can be factored as that expression times 1. Okay, it's what we would call the trivial factor, the way to factor it. So it's not that interesting, but just note we can always do that if we need to get a product of two or more things. Tip, you can always check, and that's the nice thing about factoring. You can always check your factoring by multiplying it back through. And I always suggest to my students, if you have time or an exam or quiz or something, go ahead and take a check, do a double check by multiplying it back through. Even if I don't ask you to, it's just nice to do. So let's look here. And again, you can pause the video and fill it in and come back and check your answers. So fill in the missing factor. We have 24x to the third y squared, and you're given 8x squared. So to finish this up, we would need what? 3x y squared. And we can do a little check here by taking 8x squared times 3xy squared. And since I've mentioned the commutative property here, then I can rewrite this as 8 times 3 times x squared times x times y squared, right? And that will give me 24x cubed y squared, which is what we started with. And so that checks off correctly. Let's look at B, x to the 7th, and we have x to the 3rd. Well, again, remembering what it means for exponents is repeated multiplication, that's just going to be x to the 4th. And for C, for this page here, m times n, well, that's if you're given m times n, then remember, you can always make a factor by adding a 1. So that's just going to be m times n, mn times 1. Okay, I'm going to stop this video and start a new one.